Lisa Stokes Bear, Century 21 Sheets Real Estate Agency in Cicero, Indiana, specializes in residential and corporate relocations, home buying, and selling and professional staging, serving Hamilton, Tipton, and Madison counties since 1997. Greetings from Cicero, Indiana, a friendly lakeside community on Morse Reservoir. Cicero has a thriving downtown with a variety of places to dine, grab a coffee, or shop, and water amenities that include a marina, kayak and canoe launch, and fishing pier. Now Entering is made possible with support from Century 21 Sheets, Lisa Stokes Bear, Town of Cicero, with additional support from Cicero Market, Darkside Roasters, Hamilton North Public Library, Morse Lake Weather, N3 Boatworks, 10 West.
Hi, I'm Dan Strong, a member of the Town Council, and you are now entering Cicero.
30 miles north of Indianapolis, heavy suburban traffic gives way to quieter roads in Cicero, where many of the 5,300 residents can be found driving golf carts around town. Cicero was founded along Cicero Creek in 1834 as a farming community, and a railroad soon brought industry to the town, including 2 glass factories. In 1838, Cicero Creek became the site of the first bridge built over a major stream in Hamilton County, which was later converted into an iconic red-covered bridge. The geography of Cicero completely changed in the 1950s with the construction of Morse Reservoir, and the landmark Red Bridge was replaced. The 1956 opening of Morse Reservoir ushered in an era of growth and development in Cicero. Today, Morse Reservoir offers many recreation opportunities, including a unique fireworks display that draws visitors from far and wide every July. But residents of Cicero know this small but growing town has a lot more to offer than the lake, including a vibrant downtown, a thriving arts community, an 800-acre park, and most importantly, the people and organizations who make Cicero an exciting and welcoming place to live. You'll see that in these stories, told by the residents themselves through their own photos and videos. You are now entering Cicero, Indiana.
I'm Julie Shearer Davis.
And I'm Kathy Shearer Kirkendorfer.
And our family settled in the Cicero area in the 1850s.
And we are going to take you on a tour of Cicero then and now. We are arriving via the inner urban, stopping at the Cicero station that's on the corner of Jackson Street and what is now Peru Street. The inner urban made its last run in 1938, and that building now holds Dreamtastics, which is a gymnastics and dance studio. As we turn the corner and look to the west down Jackson Street in the year 1908, we see what was a bustling community, and it still is today. In the first block, which was built by the Knights of Pythias, the first business we see is the New York store. It was a dry goods establishment which opened in 1900. The building later became Chet Bland's hardware store in the 50s and 60s, before becoming Charlie's Used Furniture. Many people in the area will tell you that they still have an item or two from Charlie's store, including me. I have several antiques from there. Over a century later, the buildings on this block still remain.
Continuing down north on Jackson Street, we see the bank building, complete with its turret, in the early 1900s. The building stands there to this day, minus its turret, and it is now a little coffee shop called Darkside Roasters. One of the biggest attractions in this area was Magnetic Springs Park, which was founded by the Shear family. Magnetic Springs had a coliseum, a large flower garden, a horse track, a band shell, all kinds of athletic venues, and a lot of other really neat attractions for the time.
To continue west, you had to cross a red-covered bridge. The Red Bridge was torn down as a result of the Morse Reservoir project, completed in 1956, which dammed up Cicero Creek and created the reservoir. What was once Magnetic Springs is now underwater. As a tribute to the old covered bridge, Cicero established Red Bridge Park, community center, and marina.
On the corner of Main Street in Jackson, the Boathouse and the Swan Dive restaurant offers a place to dock your boat and grab a bite to eat. On the north side of Jackson in Maine was the Backlash, and this was a restaurant that was established in the 1950s, and it at first was a little ice cream parlor, and then it developed into a large outdoor seating area with a big patio, and high school students would love to come and put a dime in the jukebox and grab a Coke and then just dance the night away. That area and the bait shop, which was right adjacent to it, is now La Cascada Mexican restaurant, and then also just a little bit further west, the waterfront condos.
What was once the 1970s version of the Cicero Library has become the Library Bar and Grill. Hamilton North Public Library was built at the south edge of town on Brinton Street in 1997. A drugstore and a clothing store were replaced by Perky's Barbershop in the 1920s. Although Dud Perky has long since passed on, the shop and its name still remain. Another notable businessman was Bob Payne, who operated the drugstore in the 50s through the early 70s. The building is now the home of Pizza King. Jimmy's Fitness Center once housed Freeman's Market and Myron's Five and Dime. Myron Roberts was a hero to many of the kids in Cicero because he allowed us to go behind the candy counter and look at all the candy that was there because we were too short to see through the glass, and we could pick out our penny candy.
Walking on down to the end of Jackson Street and past Catherine Street, because we always walked there, you'd find Cicero School. Cicero School opened in 1910, and it once housed grades 1 through 12 before the Jackson Central consolidation in the year 1944. And one of the highlights of the year for students was to be able to go down the fire escape during the fire drills. There was a large tube on the north side of the building that had been installed, and everyone loved to go down. It was almost like a little mini day at the amusement park and slide down that tube. It was put in there in 1955, and I was a first grader, and I was terrified to go down this tube. And I remember the principal at the time, Mr. Cecil Clark, sat me on his lap, and we rode down together.
None of us who grew up here can talk about Cicero without mentioning the Charberg. It was the most popular hangout in the 60s and 70s. Always you would find 2 to 3 rows deep of the cars parked outside. The most desirable job in town for a young girl was to be a car hop at the Charberg.
No matter how you look at it, Cicero is a great place to live. It's grown, it's developed, and it's gone from a town of roughly 1,400 people in the 50s and 60s to over 5,000 residents now.
The people are friendly and warm. It's an inviting place, and no matter what you're looking for, Cicero's a wonderful place.
Cicero Christian Church has been in existence since 1837, so 185 years old this year, 2022, and has been a part of this community, active and involved in trying to make this community a better place for a long, long time. As a church, we believe that God loves everyone, that He loves the people in our community, whether they're inside the church or not, and that His primary method of showing His love to other people is through the church. And so we take that responsibility seriously. It's our job to show God's love to the people in our community by meeting needs, acts of service, kindness, justice, those kind of things. And so one of the ways that we do that for the last 5 years or so is we take a Sunday off from our regular worship gatherings in September, and we go out and serve in our community. We partner with other nonprofits in the community, Parks Department, police and fire departments, other nonprofits, and with individuals as well that may have needs. And our volunteers, 250 people or so, just go out and serve. And last year, we sent a bunch of people to the Parks Department to do what ended up being about 3 months worth. The director told us about 3 months worth of work that we were able to get accomplished in just one day there through people who were there and happy to serve and happy to be a part of making our community be a better place, and really communicating the love of God not only through our actions but our attitudes as well. I've seen a couple tragedies come to our community in the last few years, and the way that the people of our community respond to that with love and support, even strangers caring for strangers, has really made an impact on me. There was a young man, a man my age, who lost his life in a farming accident a few years ago, and the support that the community showed for that family and the way people rallied together to meet their needs, but also just to love them and support them, and even people who didn't know them showing up to just to express their care and to grieve with them, just made an impact on me, and was kind of one of those moments that we look back on and we're reminded that, hey, we're all in this together, and we need each other. Some of those needs are related to food insufficiencies or housing insufficiencies, drug addictions, those kind of things. And we recognize that we as a church are not necessarily experts, that we don't have the answers, the solutions to all of those problems. So we find the experts in our community and we partner with them. We can leverage our resources, whether they're volunteers or financial resources, to help them do what they do better. I think our church has a strong sense of identity. We have some really clearly established values and beliefs that we work hard to train people to know and understand and be reminded of regularly. We lean into our identity in some ways that I think help us remember who we are. We have a word that we put on the back of all of our t-shirts. It's just Cicero fam. And that goes on the back of all of our t-shirts, and people see it in a hashtag on social media and all over the place. And that word reminds us that we're a family. We all are united by our relationship to each other and ultimately our relationship to God. And so I think that's just one of the ways that we try to hold on to who we are is reminding ourselves we're the Cicero fam. We need each other. We make each other better, and we're on the same mission together.
The recollection I have of the reservoir itself was from a kid coming down here after it was already in. But my grandmother, Grace Seago, took pictures honestly of everything when we were kids. But I inherited pictures, mainly slides of all the bridges that were here prior to the reservoir. I think she recognized that they were going to disappear, so she took pictures of all of them. From the pictures, I can just tell that it was just a wooded area down below and around the bridges, and that's all gone except what's around the reservoir. And obviously it's all opened up and wide now.
We used to have an old interurban. It ran from Tipton to Noblesville, down State Road 19, and they took the rails out and cemented State Road 19, and I spent a lot of time up there watching that happen. And then thereafter,
they started putting in the reservoir. I get on my bike daily and go down and watch them put in the reservoir. I used to hang out at we call it the railroad bridge. That's where I learned to swim. So I got to watch them when they tore that out. They replaced State Road 19 bridge.
So before the reservoir come in, going down 19, you went through an iron bridge that I have a picture of and just went through a small town towards Noblesville. Now obviously it's widened out. There's a different bridge. And you see the beginning of the reservoir on the north end, and can see the railroad bridge that goes over that. The west end, the red bridge actually set at an angle, so it's set from northeast to southwest, kind of where the bridge is now, and you went down beside the cemetery, curved into the bridge, and curved back out of the bridge to get in through a lower land, all wooded. Now it's a straight shot out of Cicero, wide open, crossing the reservoir. So a whole lot different visually than it was originally.
I think I was 14 years old. They put in ramps for boating. The Indianapolis Water Company bought the town of Cicero a boat, and they paid my dad to patrol the reservoir. I love the small town of Cicero because it's a small town. You on a daily basis see people that you know. You know, what can I say? I just love a small town.
My name's Craig Bowen, and I'm here to talk to you about the Lights Over Morse Lake Festival that's held every 4th of July here in Cicero, Indiana. So the festival's obviously main reason is the fireworks. You know, we want to celebrate our independence, and with the lake we have amazing opportunity to have a great fireworks show. So that is the heart of our festival, and then we piggyback that with concerts, the golf cart poker runs, golf cart scavenger hunts. We do a fish fry. The Wesleyan Church puts on a free fair that is absolutely free. Last year we did caboose rides. We did caricatures for the kids to come see, you know, Elsa and Superman and Batman. We have vendors in the park, food. You know, it's just a weekend where the community can come together and just have a great time, forget about everything else that's happening, and to top it all off, we shoot the fireworks off. Last year we put out $24,000 in just the fireworks alone. When I became part of the committee, one thing I did not realize was the funding aspect of it. And you know, most fireworks shows and things you see around the other communities, they're all put on and by the parks department or the city themselves. You know, we're just a small town, we couldn't obviously afford to do that. So the biggest surprise to me was that it was all funded by the residents and the local businesses. So our festival is made up of about 10 volunteers total. We'd like to see more, but it is amazing to see each committee member and what they do and their role that they have. My role is to collect the donation and the sponsorship forms from the community and basically oversee the funding of the festival. If it wasn't for all the good participation from the volunteers, we wouldn't have the festival. And as far as the community support, it's just phenomenal to see such a small town be able to bring so much money and sponsorships to the table that allows this festival to go on, which usually costs about $45,000 to $50,000, and it is pretty much all from the community support. The biggest fundraiser we do is the Lights Over Morse Lake Boat Poker Run, which is usually held at a local restaurant, and we get tons of donations for auction items, raffle items, and we just have a huge participation. The community really comes together. The thing that motivates me the most to come back and to do this year after year is just all the smiling faces and the people gathering during the festival, you know, seeing all the golf carts driving around Cicero throughout that week and weekend, it just really puts a smile on my face. You know, there's times throughout the year you question yourself, man, like, you know, why am I doing this? It takes so much time, so much energy, and there's always bumps in the roads. But man, when that festival's happening, there's nothing like seeing the kids smiling on the carnival rides and seeing the characters and the people that show up for the concerts that we have. It just brings the entire community together, and I just, that's what keeps me here. So right before the fireworks, the sun's setting, that's kind of go time. Everything has to hit right. You're watching all the people come in. You know, they're gathering on the lake in their boats. They're gathering at Red Bridge Park. They're gathering on the hill. After the fireworks show ends, people are starting to go off in every direction. The streets are becoming as crowded as they've ever been in Cicero. You know, everybody's just smiling. They're happy. They're usually, you hear everybody talking about, you know, wow, how great that show was. You know, wow, that was a long fireworks show. And you see all the boats start to leave the bay, and it's just so awesome to see the reactions of everybody, and especially the people who've never been and they don't know what to expect. You know, they always know, I'm coming back here next year.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the latest episode of Ball State PBS's Now Entering series as we visit Cicero, Indiana. Yes. We've already seen some great stories already. Hi, I'm Angie Rapp, Marketing Manager at Ball State PBS, along with my co-host for the evening, Michelle Kinsey, our Community Engagement Manager at Ball State PBS, and we're so happy you could join us.
Absolutely. The Now Entering series is a unique documentary project. Your friends and neighbors became the filmmakers to tell the story of your town, capturing what makes Cicero special. We met some great people and heard some wonderful stories when we were there taping the storyteller interviews you are seeing tonight.
We know that you're loving this program already, and there's so much more to come. But first, we need to hear from you. For more than 50 years, your support has made it possible for us to bring you programming that entertains and educates. Ball State PBS provides these rich experiences that allow us all the opportunity to take a break from everyday life and relax and enjoy ourselves. The Ball State PBS production team spent some time visiting Cicero to talk to the storytellers and learn about what makes this town so special. We're here this evening not only to celebrate Cicero, but to ask you to be a part of what makes Ball State PBS special, our members. Yes. Your generous gift right now helps create more of the local programming you enjoy and want to see on Ball State PBS. Call right now at 1-800-252-9472 or go online to ballstatepbs.org.
We want to hear from you. Behind us, we have a phone bank of volunteers featuring some of the storytellers you will see in tonight's program. Some of them you've already seen this evening. So let's get those phones ringing and keep our volunteers busy. If you know folks who are from Cicero and have moved away, let them know that they can watch at ballstatepbs.org or watch the live stream right now on our Facebook page. Don't forget to leave us a comment about Cicero at #NECicero. Ball State PBS loves going out into the communities and connecting with you by providing the best in local programming, arts, history, science, and news, as well as providing fun and educational community engagement opportunities. We would love it if tonight you would take just a moment and make that connection with us by calling in with your support. Every single dollar makes a difference because it goes right back into serving you, your family, and our entire community. Call 1-800-252-9472 or go online to ballstatepbs.org.
And when we do hear from you, we'll send you the DVD of tonight's program to enjoy. Or maybe you want to send it to a friend or a family member. With your sustaining gift of just $5 monthly or a gift of $60 annually, we'll send you the Now Entering Cicero DVD. or become a sustaining member for $9 a month and make a donation of $108 and we'll send you 2 DVDs. We have lots of bonus material on the DVD, including a look behind the scenes of our production day, footage not seen in the program, photos, and much more. And all you have to do is call us and talk to one of the great phone volunteers here at 1-800-252-9472 or go online at ballstatepbs.org. In addition to those great thank you gifts, we also have Ball State PBS Passport. With your qualifying donation, you can have access through PBS Passport to thousands of hours of local and national programming. And the best thing about it, you can watch those programs whenever and wherever you want on your favorite digital device. So if you'd like to get your own copy of Now Entering Cicero and access to all of those great programs on Passport, go to the phone or go online right now and show your support.
The Now Entering series is a partnership between Ball State PBS and the towns we visit. If you have been watching, you know that the stories tonight are being told by your friends and neighbors from Cicero. You experienced the town's character and culture through their perspective. Residents there went out and shot the video, collected the photos, and then sat down with the Ball State PBS crew to tell the stories you are enjoying this evening. Now it's your turn to become a partner with Ball State PBS to ensure that local programs like Now Entering can continue. Call 1-800-252-9472 or go online to ballstatepbs.org to make a gift of support. It's time to make that call and let us know you appreciate the kind of programs you're watching, like the ones tonight, and you want to see quality local programming continue right here on Ball State PBS.
As a Ball State PBS viewer, you know how important it is that everyone in your community has access to this important resource. When you make your donation of support online or over the phone, you're ensuring that everyone has equal access to the programs and resources here on Ball State PBS. From the vital in-depth news and documentaries to the critical learning tools and services, the programs here improve and empower your community every single day. Thanks to your support, Ball State PBS can continue to serve you and continue to be your family's vital connection to information, education, performances, and more. If you're already a member, thank you for making all of these experiences available for everyone in our community. And if not, it's not too late. Please make your contribution today to keep this essential service strong. Call and talk to one of our great Cicero phone volunteers right now at 800-252-9472 or go online at ballstatepbs.org.
And when you make that contribution, we have some great ways to say thanks. Become a sustaining member for $5 a month. You'll receive your very own copy of the Now Entering Cicero DVD. And when you donate $9 monthly, you'll get 2 DVDs, one for you and one to give to a friend. The DVD has bonus material not seen on this evening's program, including behind-the-scenes footage of production day in Cicero, photos, interviews, and much more. You'll receive our on-the-air program guide and access to Ball State PBS Passport. So make that call now, 800-252-9472, or give online at ballstatepbs.org. We are streaming the show live tonight, so if you have family and friends that are from Cicero but have moved away, call them right now and tell them that they can watch Now Entering Cicero at ballstatepbs.org or on the Ball State PBS Facebook page, and they can join in all the fun tonight. We have several of the storytellers in the studio with us tonight. Let's hear it, storytellers. Let's hear it. All right, and they're behind me on the phones, and I believe Phil Hoffman, the general manager of Ball State PBS, is with one of them now to chat about their experience with Now Entering. Phil?
Well, yes, we are here. Welcome to Now Entering Cicero, and I'm joined by some folks now that you probably know very well if you've been watching the last few minutes. Kathy and Julie are here. They were our tour guides at the beginning of the program. Welcome. We're happy to have you here tonight.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So earlier we were talking about that your family has deep roots in the town of Cicero. Tell me a little bit about that history of living in Cicero.
Our great-grandfather was born in Millersburg, which is just north of there, in 1858. So the Shear family has been in the area since the 1850s. My grandfather lived there, my dad lived there, was born in the town, and we grew up there and have been around ever since.
And you all both worked as School teachers, right?
At Hamilton Heights, the local school.
Well, there you go. So I'm sure there are probably plenty of former students watching tonight.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
Probably.
make sure you tell them they have to become a member,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
We don't want Cicero to fall behind those other towns, I'm just saying, right? So when you think about what is special about living in a town like Cicero, what is it that really matters to you? Like what are the things that you get up and you think to yourself in the morning, this is why I love living here?
I think the really nice thing is it always has that small town feel. We know people know other people. We know we can count on those people if we ever need to. And we've watched it grow from 1,400 people to upwards of 5,000. And there are always new experiences coming in. There are arts and crafts and programming and everything that, quite frankly, we didn't have when we were kids. But we still feel we're a part of that.
And as you all were growing up, you got to see the big change with the reservoir coming in. What was that like as a kid watching all that happen?
It was exciting. You didn't know exactly what it was going to be. We were small. I was like 6 or 7, and we lived on the creek, and we knew we had to move. That was the sad part for us. We knew we were going to have to move, and it all worked out just great. But people in town were excited about it happening, but a little bit nervous because they knew that their little town was going to change.
Do you remember the first time that you walked over and now there was a reservoir there? What was that like to see all that water all of a sudden?
It was really interesting because I think the first thing we did was to go visit the dam. And we saw on there the pictures of the dam being constructed. And the town had a contest to see, what time and what day the first drop of water would go over the spillway. And so we very frequently would go there. But driving over the new bridge and this sort of thing when the red bridge was no longer there, it was something that was like, wow, this is really big now. And we knew it was going to grow. We knew it wasn't something that was just going to be for our small town, and that there would be more and more people that would come in, and it would be a real attraction, and it has been.
And certainly it's worked out that way.
Yes.
So as you look at, with all your roots in that area, as you look at the future for Cicero, what would you like to see for the town?
It's going to continue to grow. It's close enough to the metropolitan areas of Indianapolis and Noblesville. A lot of people who live there now want to get to a place that's a little bit smaller, a little bit more rural. The school district is wonderful, and I think it's just going to continue to grow, and we're going to have more businesses and more. We already do have several new subdivisions going in. It's just going to continue to get larger and larger and have more and more things available for people.
I think one thing that's really nice too is that the schools have grown tremendously, and even though it seems as though it's not way far away from what it was when we were, I think the classes have maybe doubled as far as the enrollment. But we had 333 people transfer in for this new year, and some of them are coming from the other parts. They like the area, they like what the schools have to offer. And it's still that hometown feel, even though it's getting larger and larger.
Well, I want to thank you both for joining us this evening and for telling the story and giving us the tour of your hometowns. We appreciate that. And of course, as I say, you want to stay tuned, give us a call right now, 1-800-252-9472. If you appreciate having a program like Now Entering and a focus on small communities with good news and interesting information about those small communities, we hope you'll become a member of Ball State PBS by calling that number, 800-252-9472. And stay tuned, because in the next break, they're going to do the sisters routine from White Christmas, so stand by.
I don't think so.
They had what a wonderful way to kick off this evening's program. It was wonderful to be able to hear from them again this evening. Thank you so much, Phil, for that. The Now Entering series is one of the most impactful things Ball State PBS does. Part of our mission is to be the local voice for the communities of East Central Indiana, and this evening we are bringing you the voices of Cicero. The wonderful people of Cicero came together to help make this show possible. Thanks to everyone who has called in supporting great local programs that only Ball State PBS, your local PBS station, can bring you. We would also like to thank some of the sponsors of Now Entering Cicero. Thanks to our premium presenting sponsors, the Town of Cicero and Lisa Stokes Bear Century 21 Sheets. Yes! Let's hear it. That's fantastic. Wonderful. Remember, you can leave us a message about your memories of Cicero or what you like about the show at hashtag #NECicero, or share a message with one of the phone volunteers. They're waiting for you to call in right now. If you haven't called yet, then now is the time. 800-252-9472, or go online to ballstatepbs.org to make your gift of support. Our phone volunteers are waiting, right? Right? Yes, they are waiting to hear from you.
We're here celebrating the town of Cicero, but there are all sorts of reasons to celebrate Ball State PBS. From programs that inform, educate, and inspire, to educational and entertaining children's programs, to in-depth news, to the best in arts and cultural programming anywhere. What better way to support the station that brings you such a diverse range of national and local programming than to make a contribution right now? We make it easy for you. You choose the amount, you choose if you'd like a thank you gift, and you choose how you'd like to pay. It's that simple. So give us a call right now at 800-252-9472 and talk to one of our great phone volunteers. Or go online to ballstatepbs.org to make your gift of support on a secure online form.
And when you make that contribution, we have some great ways to say thanks. For a gift of $5 a month or $60, you'll receive your very own copy of Now Entering Cicero. And with your sustaining membership of $9 a month or $108, you'll receive 2 DVDs. The DVD has bonus material not seen on this evening's program, including behind-the-scenes footage of production day in Cicero, photos, interviews, and much, much more.
Now, before we head back to the program, let's take just a moment to thank some of the people who have already become members. Well, we're going to have those the next time. I know.
I hear them on the phone.
I know.
And here's the deal. When you call in or you go online,
we'll thank you.
Our favorite part is to read messages. So when you call in, you can leave a message, what story you loved, if you want to give a shout out to somebody in particular, if you want to say, oh my goodness, I grew up in Cicero, my grandmother's, we want to hear all of that. So don't hesitate to give us a message when you call in or you go online. We are ready to hear from you now. We know a few, we've got one person on the phone. The rest of our volunteers are ready. Are you not? Yes, they are ready. They're ready to hear from you. 800-252-9472, or you can just hop on over to ballstatepbs.org, right, Ange?
We're also going to be checking the Facebook Live comments, the YouTube comments. We will give you a shout out if you leave a comment on either of those places as well.
Which a lot of people do. A lot of people watch on Facebook and then they comment as they're watching. So it's really cool to see those comments pop up as people are watching right along with everybody else on Facebook. Or you can stream on ballstatepbs.org. So we have 2 awesome ways to watch. We have wonderful thank you gifts when you call in. The only thing left to do, let me see, call in. That's all you have to do. 800-252-9472, or go to ballstatepbs.org. So you can watch, you can see all of your friends. Some of them you've already seen.
I think they're
on
ready
the
for us to go back to the program.
Wonderful. We're ready.
All right, let's go back to Now Entering Cicero.
As county historian, my job is to look at a lot of the old folklore and either prove it or shoot it down. So as a result, there is a story in one of the old books. This is by a gentleman by the name of Augustus Finch Schurz. Published it in 1901, and he's just got a real quick little paragraph here where he says, Cicero Creek derived its name from the following circumstances. One Mr. McLaughlin surveyed the land in that vicinity. He had a son named Cicero who was with the party. This son undertook to drink water from the creek, and in doing so fell into the creek. His father then and there named the creek Cicero Creek, and it has been that ever since. So that's in the old histories. The actual surveyor's notes are now available at the National Archives. You can actually see the original notes. They've been scanned and put online. And on one of the pages, there is literally a notation that says, this is to be called Cicero's Creek. And that suggests that there may actually be some validity to that. The area that they were surveying at that point in time was actually a little south of here. It was down where Cicero Creek comes under Highway 32. And so actually at that point in time, the creek itself does these wild S-turns. And so naturally that would just seem to be a place where somebody would accidentally take a spill there. And we do know that Mr. Laughlin, who was the surveyor at the time, did in fact have a son named Cicero. He was literally part of the survey team. So in all probability, Cicero got its name from Cicero Laughlin, and this is probably actually what happened. Somebody told me, literally, this is how these things turn up, said, oh, I remember that Harry Truman stopped in Cicero in 1948 during his presidential campaign when he did his whistle stop tour. I listened very politely and said, well, that's very nice. Is this in the newspapers? Is there any evidence for this or anything like that? And they weren't able to come up with anything. So that's been kind of resting on the side thing. But recently, thanks once again to a lot of scanned documents and interviews that are now available online, there is actually a story with one of the railroad executives who was on the train with Truman at the time. And apparently what happened is that somewhere north of here, perhaps, it's not clear yet, there was a person who was introduced, who was kind of said, oh, Truman should meet this guy, and he was going to go down to Indianapolis to go through a Masonic ceremony. And apparently Truman, of course, was a huge Mason. This was a big part of his life. And he was very interested in this, so he invited the young man onto the train, apparently with his family or something like that. And of course, the Secret Service was panicking. But this, either he invited him on up north and dropped him off in Cicero, or picked him up in Cicero and brought him down to Indianapolis. Not really clear on that. That's one of the things we need to still work on. But we do know there is a report that Truman actually went to Indianapolis to the Masonic ceremony that evening and helped induct this young man into the group. So this was very, very important. So once again, that was an interesting bit of folklore. Needs a little bit more work, but there's a good chance that it's probably true. This captain who ended up in Cicero, of all places, Cicero, Indiana, kind of went on a long, convoluted route to get here. Owen W. Conley was his name, and he was born in Galway, Ireland. His family suffered in the Great Famine and came to the United States, and somewhere around in the late 1850s, probably about 1856, 1857, he decided to become a riverboat captain. And so Conley was on the river for many, many years, on the Mississippi, on the Ohio. His most notable memory later on was when he served as a crewman aboard the steamboat the Forest Queen, which was William Tecumseh Sherman's headquarters during the whole Battle of Vicksburg. Well, he served on the river, of course, after the Civil War as well, and in the 1890s, he retired and he came here to Cicero, Indiana. Now, the reason why he did that is because he was related to the Mullen family. In the 1830s, there were a couple of different groups that moved to this part of Hamilton County. One was the Bushers, the Busher settlement that was just to the east of here, and then there was the Mullen settlement just to the west of here. The Mullens were Irish Catholics, the Bushers were German Catholics. And the two groups were really some of the first Catholics in the county. They later combined, and they were the ones that were the source for Sacred Heart Catholic Church here in Cicero. Sacred Heart Catholic Church is still definitely a strong part of the community, and it wasn't until these two groups got together right around the turn of the century and were able to get a large enough population to actually have an honest-to-goodness church in the area. So Conley became an important part of the community. The stories that he told are actually there in the local newspaper, in the Ledger down in Noblesville. So it's kind of interesting to find this interesting resource out here in the middle of nowhere about life on the river and life during the Civil War. This question of communities relating to their history is very, very important right now in Hamilton County. We're coming up on our bicentennial in 2023, and the thing is, with the growth of the suburbs in the 1950s and in the 1970s, of course, when they started moving into the Cicero area, a lot of the communities lost their identity. They simply became groups of houses out kind of in the middle of the cornfields, and now the community is starting to say, hey, who am I? Why are we here? What's interesting about us? What makes us unique? And it's great to see that Cicero is in fact doing that. They want to preserve their things. They want to make it a vital community.
Well, I'm here today to tell you about my family. They go back a long way. My McConnell side of my family migrated to Indiana, in fact, Jackson Township in the early 1830s. As far back as I can tell, it looks like it was 1832. And the other side of my family, which is the Worleys, W-O-R-L-E-Y, and they lived about 7 miles apart here in Jackson Township, came here also, ironically, about 1832. The impact my family's made in this area have generally been in public service. My grandparents have been, and cousins for that matter, have been involved in Hamilton County politics for many, many years. And my uncle was former state adjutant general. And my father, very active and civic-minded as well. He was a high school coach and later the first Hamilton high school principal after the schools consolidated here. Our family's involvement in the Hinkle Creek Church go back many generations, in fact, back to the basically 1830s when that church was founded. And we've been going there ever since. I'm a member of the church, and my father, my mother, grandparents, great-grandparents, all the way back have been a member of the church. And Hamilton County's been really a hotbed of Quakerism since that time. The school has impacted, I think, all 5 generations. They've been known for excellent schools here for many, many years. In fact, if I go back and I've seen some of my grandmother's report cards back in the early 19th or early 20th century, and I don't think I could pass one of the courses that she took. She had Latin and Greek, even in a little school like this. So it's impacted, and I think a lot of people have moved to northern Hamilton County because of the schools. I grew up in southern Indiana, but my family's been around this part of Indiana for forever, as I've noted. And coming back was really interesting because some of my favorite memories around this Jackson Township have been the people and the lake, of course, and fishing. I came up here for all my vacations, all the holidays, Christmas and Thanksgiving, and my family would go hunting on Thanksgiving as a ritual every year, and it looked like a Currier and Ives picture with my grandpa, my dad, his brother, my first cousin, and myself.
My name is Steve Martin, and I was formerly the library director here in Jackson Township. And back when I was here, it was called the Atlanta Jackson Township Public Library. It's now known as Hamilton North Public Library. When I came, the main library was located in Atlanta, and in fact there's an old Carnegie Library that's still functional in Atlanta. Libraries, in my mind anyways, have now become not only repositories of books and electronic materials, but meeting places. People come in for programs, little kids come in for story hours, adults come in for craft programs. I hadn't been here but maybe a couple of months, and the board president came in one day to see how I was doing, and he said, "What do you think our biggest problem is here?" And I said, "Oh, I know what your biggest problem is. You've got 3 libraries in the township, and you really have spread your resources too thin." And so with the new library in Cicero, yeah, now there's a lot of room for other programming and things, and so that's what they needed here. You know, they got a very active library administration, and Ann Hahn, the library director here, is that type of a person. And the people that I've interacted with in her library, beyond her, have always been very friendly, very helpful. I'm a people person, and I love the people here in Jackson Township. Not too long ago, I was down at the Dollar General here in Cicero, and a guy came up and knocked on the car window, and he had pulled in alongside of me and said, I know you, and I rolled the window down. He says, I know you, and I looked at him, and he says, I used to be on your library board when you were here. Oh, and then he told me his name. He says, yeah, hi, how are you? That sort of thing, you know, it's the people. I have a son and his family that live in Cicero, and I'm very glad that they live here, you know.
The whole national spotlight was on Ryan's entry to Hamilton Heights. It was the first AIDS-known student to attend a school after a court order indicated that he should have the right to attend school. I'm Tony Cook, and I'm currently a state representative for Indiana in the House of Representatives since 2014. But I was the principal during the time of Ryan White's entry into Hamilton Heights, and I was his principal that greeted him on the first day. We had to make some decisions pretty quickly once we found out Ryan had selected to move here with his mother, Jeannie, in the spring, in April and May of '87. First thing I did was call and ask Jeannie and Ryan to have a private meeting, because at this point the press was following them everywhere. They had found out they'd selected Cicero to purchase a home. And at that meeting, I needed to get some conviction too, if we were going to be in for this battle, which the previous school corporation had really gone through a national battle with the press. And I was quickly on the team as I spoke to both of them, asked a couple hardline questions, and Ryan said, I've got this, Mom. And he said, you know, Mom has always been by my side. She's always stood up for me to wanting to be able to go to school. She said, you know what it's like to go in the cafeteria after everybody else has eaten? Do you know what it's like to have to, after the bell rings, wait till everyone leaves to go into the hallway? Or use the bathroom and you only have one bathroom you can go to, and you can't go when all the other kids have to go to the bathroom, and you're not allowed to attend any functions at school, after school, ball games, dances, anything of that nature. And after that comment, I said, Ryan, we're on, for sure. I think both the assistant principal and myself had tears in our eyes at that point. And we said we had to hear that from both of you, that this was really something you wanted to do. And his clincher was, he said, I've already faced the reality that I'm going to pass away. And he said, I want to experience all the things that I can experience in a short amount of time that a high school normal student would face. So we did go back. We recommended that to my school board, and that he had no restrictions and he'd be treated as normal as possible. And then we started an all-out campaign to make that positive. The community was super receptive. I've always said I'm so thankful. They were respectful of us making decisions. They supported us. I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of the community for galvanizing and coming together with us, in which didn't happen before in the previous community, and really could have maybe not happened in our community if we hadn't worked hard to be proactive. I still carry that pride greatly of what we were able to do and accomplish at a time nationally when it was really a difficult time. He got along well with kids. He was very intelligent. He was witty. He was realist about his situation and would share that. But he was mild and meek and sweet and not aggressive, and things that people say about spitting on people or throwing rocks at kids. Well, maybe if you were taunted when you're 13 years old, you might do some of those things, but we never saw that side at all. He was so good in front of the TV cameras and with people that he could reach out and they would empathize with him by the time he got done. We had the memorial service at the Presbyterian Church in Indianapolis on Meridian Street, and it chose that because of the capacities and because of the numbers of students that we were going to have go at that time. I was in charge of the seating for the students and other guests that she had. And the same with the funeral home calling. Elton John and I, Jeannie asked us to be near her at the viewing, at the casket. I was in charge of trying to introduce everyone to them that came from the community, particularly, which it was quite an outpouring of the community. At the time, we bused all the students that wanted to attend. We bused every high school student to the funeral. And she wanted to ensure that I had them sit behind the family and that they all got their seating first. Elton John, he sang and played piano during the service. And I remember Fly Away is one of the songs that he had. It was so touching at the time. I think the world of what legacy he left, because he went out to Congress, he convinced them that these were things they should look, into with young people and not have the stigma and the ostracism that he experienced. And the rest is history to this day. I mean, they had the Ryan White Fund and grants and AIDS education all over the United States from his congressional appearances.
What a beautiful story.
Absolutely.
A lot of us are familiar with Ryan's story, but I have to say I've never heard it from that perspective, from the perspective of the town, and how beautifully told that was, and how that is a story that everybody needs to see.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs to see that story, like you're watching it right now.
Hi, I'm Angie Rapp, along with Michelle Kinsey, and we're here taking just a quick break from this program. Thanks for joining us this evening for Now Entering Cicero, the latest episode, not the last, the latest episode in our Now Entering series. We want to remind everyone that in addition to watching us on TV tonight, we are streaming live at ballstatepbs.org and on Facebook. And don't forget about the PBS video app as well.
That's right.
Be sure to comment on social media with hashtag Now NE-Cicero, and thanks to all of you who have already called in tonight with your support.
We have a few.
Okay.
All right.
Things are getting started.
I know. They're getting rolling. A lot of times people get so engrossed
Yes.
in the program, they're like, oh, wait, I need to call.
Yes.
And so the calls are coming in. People are going online. Just keep those phones ringing. We like to thank Nick Barger of Cicero and Sonia Farrand of Cicero. Thank you so much for taking the time to call in and go online.
Absolutely, and the first of our Facebook comments has come in from Alice Reed. She says, we moved here 3 months ago to live closer to our children and grandchildren, and we love Cicero. So thank you, Alice.
I love that comment. Keep them coming, everybody.
And speaking of thank yous, we want to take a moment to thank our wonderful community sponsors. 10 West, Cicero Market, Darkside Roasters, Hamilton North Public Library, Morse Lake's Weather, and N3 Boatworks.
Wonderful. There has been some activity happening behind us on the phones, letting us know that you appreciate the programming we provide you and your family and friends every day. Programs like the Now Entering series that gives local communities an opportunity to tell their own stories that they want to tell and the way they want to tell them. And you're not going to find that anywhere else but here on public television, right here on Ball State PBS. Our crew spent the day in Cicero working with the storytellers to help create the Now Entering Cicero episode you are watching tonight. And our editors helped craft each individual story using their interviews, photos, and videos. Each person had so much pride when they were telling their story. And Ball State PBS takes pride in being able to bring you quality local programs like Now Entering. We know that you're enjoying this evening's show. Let us know that you're doing that by calling 800-252-9472 or go online to ballstatepbs.org and make your donation. When you become a sustaining member for $5 a month or make a one-time gift of $60, you'll receive the Now Entering Cicero DVD as a thank you gift. The DVD has bonus goodies you will not see on this evening's show, including behind-the-scenes footage of production day, extra interviews, and photos. If you contribute $108 or a sustaining gift of $9 a month, we'll send you 2 DVDs of Now Entering Cicero, one to keep and one to give to a friend or family member.
On Ball State PBS, you can explore programs that cover a vast world of information, culture, and learning, like this one, where we're learning all about our wonderful neighbors in Cicero. It's something Ball State PBS brings to you every day, an appreciation for the community and the world around you, allowing you to see things in a different light. Member support like yours is especially important and powerful as we plan more local programs, outreach, and initiatives. By calling one of our phone volunteers right now and making a financial contribution, you can ensure that we will always be able to bring you a variety of engaging experiences. It just takes a few minutes. Join us now online at ballstatepbs.org or call 800-252-9472. Thank you for making more great public television possible on Ball State PBS.
Everyone can benefit from access to arts, nature, science, and innovation. That's why Ball State PBS invests in programs like Nova, Nature, and Masterpiece. It's why we produce local shows such as Wellness Matters, The Round Table, and Now Entering. That's why Ball State PBS partners with many community organizations on projects that focus on education, arts, health, and economic development. When you make your donation of support online or over the phone, you're ensuring that everyone has equal access to the programs and resources here on Ball State PBS. Thanks to your support, we can continue to serve you and continue to be your family's vital connection to information, education, performance, and more. And remember, the key to all these wonderful programs is you. This is your chance to help sustain and support the station you and your community watch, enjoy, and cherish. If you're already a member, thank you for making all of these experiences available for everyone in our community. If not, please make your contribution today, 800-252-9472. And when you make that contribution, we have some great ways to say thanks.
That's right. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call 800-252-9472 or go online at ballstatepbs.org and show your commitment to excellent public television that makes a difference. When you make a gift of support tonight with an ongoing monthly gift of $5 a month, we'll send you the Now Entering Cicero DVD. And if you can give just a little bit more, with a gift of just $9 monthly, you'll receive 2 DVDs of Now Entering Cicero as a thank you. The DVD is full of bonus material not in tonight's program, including behind the scenes at production day, more photos, and extra interviews. And don't forget, with your qualifying donation, you can take advantage of a very special member benefit called Ball State PBS Passport. Passport brings you thousands of hours of great PBS and local programs whenever you want on the PBS app, your streaming player, phone, or tablet. You can catch up on the shows that you may have missed or revisit some of your favorites. And the best part is you can watch whenever you want. It's a one-of-a-kind benefit that comes with supporting Ball State PBS. Don't wait any longer. Call 1-800-252-9472 or go online at ballstatepbs.org.
Our world is filled with never-ending wonders that amaze, surprise, and delight us. And one of the great things about this series is that it celebrates the wonderful stories of East Central Indiana, the history, the town's spirit, the people, the uniqueness of each and every story. For 50 years, Ball State PBS has been committed to bringing all this into your home. Our purpose is clear: to be an invaluable source of news, ideas, and inspiration. Your donation is really an investment in your community, helping ensure that there will always be community-centered programs right here on Ball State PBS, and that everyone has access to essential learning tools and educational resources that make a difference. Our Cicero phone volunteers are waiting to hear from you, 800-252-9472, or you can go online to ballstatepbs.org. entpbs.org. Now it's time to head over to Dr. Phil Hoffman to talk with another one of our storytellers. Phil?
Thank you so much, Michelle. Yes, we are here asking you to give us a call, 1-800-252-9472, and become a member of Ball State PBS and show your support. If you're from Cicero, now's your time. You should be making that call right now to make sure you become a member of Ball. You don't want Yorktown to beat you out, for Pete's sake. You got to call us now. Now, you saw him earlier in the program, and we've got somebody with us who I can't believe he has time to even talk to us right now. Craig Bowen. Craig was talking a little bit about 4th of July, and Craig, aren't you supposed to be somewhere right now?
We're about due. We are 1 week away from the kickoff of our festival, which starts on Friday evening.
You know, as I was watching that, hearing the story of how you have to get everybody together and bring the community together as far as sponsors to make this happen. You know, how do you attribute, you know, how you get so much support from folks to make this happen? Because that's hard. Raising money, we know raising money is hard.
Absolutely. It is really hard, but thankfully, you know, our community comes together. Everybody sees the festival as a huge part of Cicero, and it reminds everybody of Cicero, and everybody loves it. So all the businesses, residents, everybody does their fair share and contributes, and it's amazing to see it all come together and allow us to do what we do.
So what is it for you? Obviously, you don't have to do this, right? You're doing it as a person that's volunteering. What about this event gets you to the place where you say, hey, I'm going to throw in and really try to help?
Well, I've always loved the event myself, and like I stated in my little segment, you know, when I found out that it was all donation money and such a small committee, there was only a couple people doing it when I kind of became involved, and we got to give thanks to Greg and Kathy Bowman. They were kind of who I stepped in, you know, after them, and they left us with such a great starting point, you know, and it really helped us ramp up to where we are today because of all the hard work they put in from the years past, and we just can't thank them enough for everything that they did to get the committee to where it is today.
And I imagine there's a point for you that's a favorite point in all this stuff that you stand back and kind of say, wow, what is that, the part of the whole festival that you really look forward to?
The biggest part is probably the night of the actual fireworks. There is so many people that come to our little town to watch the fireworks, and you start seeing them gather at, you know, 6 o'clock in the evening. They're all making their way down to the hill. They're walking, you know, a mile to get there, and it's just really amazing to see that many people in one place in such a small little town like we have of Cicero.
Now, I know you probably can't give us too many details. Anything new or exciting that people should be on the lookout for this year?
This year we are having a balloon tethered ride, something new. Last year we had helicopter rides, which were a huge hit. We decided to kind of give that a rest. It was a little loud, and you know, some of the community didn't like it, so we took that feedback, and we're doing a balloon tethered ride, which everybody should be looking forward to that.
Good. Well, thank you, Craig. We appreciate you being here tonight. I know you have many other things you could be doing right now, I'm sure, so we really appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for all you do for Cicero.
Thank you guys for allowing Cicero to have the opportunity to be on Now Entering. It's been amazing.
Remember, Cicero, now's that time to call 1-800-252-9472. All these other towns, they did their part. You do your part. We're going to go back to Michelle now, and she'll tell you how.
Thank you so much, Phil. Remember, we are also streaming live. So if you have friends or family that don't live in our viewing area, they can watch us online at ballstatepbs.org or on our Facebook page. And make sure to comment about your memories or stories of Cicero, or just say hi at #NECicero. The Now Entering series is truly a community effort, and we want you to be a part of what keeps programs like this on Ball State PBS. Thanks to everyone who has called in already with your support, including, I get to read it?
Yeah.
I love reading them. Oh, no, I'll do it. I'm doing it.
Yeah, of course.
Gary Perkins from Cicero, thank you so much. And and Fulton
Mraz,
Mraz. Oh, I love it. Fulton Mraz, And he says, thank you for making my hometown of Cicero, Indiana so special. You know what? The people of Cicero make it special.
Super special.
Right? They're such a wonderful, wonderful town. Oh, there's another call.
The next
Fantastic.
person we're
That's
gonna be
right, that's
thanking.
right, that's right.
The Now Entering program is just one of the ways Ball State PBS connects with the communities in our viewing area. If your town is interested in being a part of Now Entering, let us know. The Now Entering project has been a fun way for us to make new friends and engage new members, as well as to tell everyone about the great neighbors around them. And remember, you can get your own DVD copy of Now Entering Cicero when you call 800-252-9472. Our Cicero phone volunteers, many of them who are the amazing storytellers from the program, are waiting to talk to you. Now, if you get a busy signal, that just means that a lot of you are calling in to show your support. So don't give up. Just call back in a few minutes and let us know if you're enjoying the program with your gift of support. Plus your donation. With your donation, you can take advantage of our special member benefit called Passport. PBS Passport brings you thousands of hours of great local and national programs wherever you want, on the PBS app, on your streaming player, on your phone, or on your tablet. You can catch up on your shows, or maybe the ones that you may have missed, or revisit some of your favorites. And the best part is that you can watch wherever you want.
There are many ways to support Ball State PBS, but the easiest way is to become a sustaining member. Here's how it works. You set up your bank account or credit card to make an automatic contribution every month in support of Ball State PBS. You choose the amount that works for you. $5 a month, $10 a month, $100 a month. It's easy on your budget because it spreads your support throughout the year. Plus, your membership will always be active, so you'll never have to worry about renewing your support. And best of all, your generous support will provide a steady stream of support to Ball State PBS that makes wonderful programs like Nature, PBS NewsHour, Masterpiece, and Now Entering possible. It takes just a few minutes to set up your sustaining membership. Make an impact today by giving online at ballstatepbs.org or call 800-252-9472.
Now, if you haven't called in, now is the time to make sure that difference, to ensure the future of public television in your community. It's easy to do, and it just takes a few minutes. And really, it does make a huge impact. Call now at 800-252-9472 or contribute online at ballstatepbs.org.
Now, let's get back to Now Entering Cicero.
Strawtown Koteewi Park is located just a few miles east of downtown Cicero. Strawtown Koteewi Park is an 810-acre park. It has lots of recreation amenities there. We have over 8 miles of hiking trails. We're bordered by 3.5 miles of river. We have a canoe launch, so visitors can drop in a canoe or kayak at the park. We have restored over 300 acres of prairie, so we provided lots of habitat for wildlife and pollinators at the park. It's beautiful to visit during the summer. We also have an adventure area on the park where we have a snow tubing hill in the winter. We have an archery facility that operates year-round. We have a ropes course in the summer, and we also have guided horseback riding trails. And then also at Strawtown Koteewi Park, we have the Taylor Center of Natural History, and we have an outdoor exhibit called Koteewi Trace. Hamilton County Parks and Recreation purchased Strawtown Koteewi Park in 1999-2000, and that was upon the passing of the previous landowner, who was Mr. Dan Taylor. When they purchased the park, one of the first things that the park did was have the entire property surveyed archaeologically. And through that archaeological survey, we discovered that there are over 140 different and distinctive archaeological sites within that park property. Some of our earliest sites date back over 10,500 years old. We have artifacts from that time period that have been recovered on the park property. One of the unique things about the park and why people settled there for so long, why it's had such a long relationship with human occupation, is because it is situated in this large bend in the river. And that bend allows for plants like prairie plants and things like that to grow in that area. And it's sort of unique to have such a large prairie area this far east. So people were attracted to that area. One of the most interesting things that we've discovered at Strawtown Koteewi Park is actually related to the agriculture there that was happening. So one of our artifacts has been, we've actually been able to recover a couple corn cobs off of the site. And one of the corn cobs was featured as part of Indiana's bicentennial exhibit when we were celebrating the bicentennial of the state. The best image that we have to really go off of is a painting that John White did in the late 1500s, and that was of a village that was circular and palisaded. We think that the Strawtown enclosure looked similar to that. It was at least a palisaded village. We think about 150 people live there at the height of the village. We need to preserve sites like this because it teaches us about our past, about our history, about our Hoosier history, about our connection to the river, to the waterways. These are sites of importance to Native Americans. This is an important area that Native Americans have inhabited for a really long time, so a connection to Native Americans today. It rivals a world-class archaeological site. I love that it's being preserved and that visitors can come out and enjoy the natural beauty. The land is just naturally beautiful. I love that it's being restored for pollinators and native animals. It's a habitat for them. So there are just so many things that I love about the park.
My name is Kenny Earl, and I am a resident of Cicero as of the last year and a half, and specifically I'm a resident at Edgewater Crossing here in Cicero, and I'm also the part-time manager. Edgewater Crossing is a 55 and up senior housing community. It consists of manufactured homes, and all of the homes are double-wide mobile homes with a garage. I feel like Edgewater Crossing is the best kept secret in Hamilton County because for senior housing it's very affordable and it's a great place to be located near the reservoir and near the wonderful town of Cicero, Indiana. The main thing that makes Edgewater Crossing special is the people. Since I've moved there, I can attest to the fact that they're very friendly, nice people. They look out for each other. They're very warm and welcoming of new residents and just very good to each other. About 2 years ago, my wife and I decided that I was putting too much time into our house. I was out in the yard and up on the roof a lot doing things, and I'm getting older, and so we talked about maybe some place that was geared towards seniors. I can go back to grade school when I remember first seeing the reservoir, and it's always been beautiful. I feel like it was developed very well so that the homes that are on the reservoir and the marina and the park and the restaurants and things were all developed in a very tasteful way, in a very thoughtful way. So the reservoir still is very aesthetically, and just the whole ambiance of it is very pleasing. 4th of July in Cicero is a big deal. And so a lot of people own golf carts, and for whatever reason, I guess because the weather's nice, they break out the carts and they're out in great numbers around that time. So we saw that there were a lot of golf carts riding around Cicero, and we thought that looked like a lot of fun. And we even learned that within Edgewater, there's maybe half the community, the households have a golf cart. So it wasn't long before, after we moved in, we got a golf cart, and we enjoy that. And our kids and our granddaughter enjoy that too. I love Cicero because it is friendly, it is familiar, it's warm, it's inviting, it's a place where you can go and retreat at the end of the day.
I'm here to talk to people about the 1932 Cicero high school basketball team that went to the state finals. Very small school before class basketball, and for them to play against Vincennes and Newcastle was a pretty big deal. In 1932, Cicero High School probably only had 50 to 60 maybe people in the high school. There were 11 men on the team who went to the state finals at Butler Fieldhouse. And it was an amazing trip for them because they're used to only having 200 people maybe at a basketball game at home, and there were 15,000 people in the Butler Stadium. Cicero won the sectional that was played at Sheridan. Back then, the county was always getting new gyms, and they would play the sectional wherever the newest gym was, and it happened to be in Sheridan that year. They won the sectional. They went to Marion for the regional, stayed in a hotel. It was the first time that many of them, probably all of them, had ever stayed in a hotel. And then they went to Indianapolis to play at Butler Stadium. Stayed in a hotel again, and it was stated in this article that I've read several times. Elevators, self-operated elevators were brand new at that time, and so the boys had a lot of fun playing with that elevators coming and going up and down. The state tournament was a little different than it is now. Sectional, regional, there were 16 teams that would go on to the actual state tournament. They played Vincennes in the first game and won 17-15, I believe. Then, unfortunately, Newcastle beat them 25-13, but it was okay. They made it to the state finals, and the Cicero people in the area around were very excited for the boys to have made it that far from such a dinky little school to the big time. And the best part of that whole story to me is the Monday after the tournament was over, the team and the coaches went to Newcastle on Monday to help them celebrate their victory with the parade. So it's kind of cool. I had an uncle on the team. One of the other players ended up being my doctor when I was a child. I knew several of these men as I grew up. One of the men was in our church. They all pretty much, I think, stayed around here after they graduated from high school.
I'm a member of the Hamilton Heights School Board, and I'm also on the Hamilton Heights Athletic Hall of Fame Committee, which chose the 1932 team as the first team that ever went into our Hall of Fame. They were a no-brainer. It was one ballot and they were in. We all felt they deserved it because they had a lot of history in the Hamilton Heights community. But this got a little bit of the word out, and their pictures hanging on the wall as you walk into our gymnasium. So people do get an idea of what happened way back when. Vicki and I went to Jackson Central, graduated together, and 2.5 years we were married. Young kids.
I love Cicero. It's gonna make me cry. I love Cicero because I grew up here. I lived here until I married my husband when we were 20, and it's just always been my home.
My name is Bonnie Ramirez, and I am the art liaison between the artists, musicians, and the community. I had a midlife emancipation. I was already all my children were grown, and they were starting to have children, so I was already a grandmother. And I decided, I was building houses at the time, custom homes, and I wanted a headboard for my bed that was wrought iron desperately, but they were so out of touch. So I thought, if I just learned how to weld, I could make my own stinking headboard. And that is the first thing I made, and it is still my headboard at my house. I went to take some welding classes at the local community college, Austin Community College, and loved it and was pretty good at it, and started selling my work right away, which I didn't even mean to, and made my bed. And I graduated there. I was the first woman to graduate there with the art metals degree from that school. And I was the first grandma for sure to get that degree. And they hired me to ask me to teach, which was not part of my plan. So I started teaching there and taught there for, I don't know, 9-10 years. I came to Indiana not because I wanted to, because I loved Austin, but my children were here and their children were here, and I wasn't getting to see them as much. So my husband and I, bit the bullet and moved up here and ended up loving it. And I was shocked and amazed, but I did wonder, after my experience in art and art education, what would it be like in small town Indiana? And I've been very, very happily surprised. There are watercolorists, there are cartoonists, there are caricaturists, there are photographers that one of my neighbors goes to Cuba and has a deal with the Cuban ballet. We have an amazing group of outdoor photographers. One that is the drone king. His name is Michael Berry, and he just takes the most amazing overhead shots of our community. I got together with the people at our town Cicero and worked as their liaison, the art director and for their design, art and design section. And we worked with the local business people and got a restaurant to sponsor us and give us space. And so every third Thursday, we would have an event there, and I would have local artists, at least one. Sometimes there was a group of artists that were similar, like maybe 7 women writers or artists that did the same thing differently. It was always a lot of fun, and it was in the banquet hall at 10 West Restaurant on the corner. And then I always have live music at the event. Most of the people that I tried to get for our events were not cover bands. They were singer-songwriters. So we have a lot of original music that people didn't hear anywhere else. And the artists, would bring in some of their people, and other people, the musicians would have their own group of people. And then the people that are eating in the restaurant would hear our music, and they would come in and see the art. So we got a good cross-section, I think, of the community there that maybe never went to a gallery show. There's a plethora of really, really talented people in Cicero and the northern Hamilton County area.
I'm Stanton Renner, and I'm here to talk about the history of the Nickel Plate Railroad as it goes through Cicero. The railroad was started in 1846 as a means of connecting the state capital to Peru, Indiana, and it was a long project, and it took till 1854 for them to get as far as Cicero, and from there they eventually went to Peru and finally Michigan City. Peru Street in Cicero is named for the fact that that's why the railroad was coming through and paralleled that street. So when you're traveling Peru Street, you're a piece of railroad history. It went through many changes and purchases, and it went belly up a couple of times between 1854 and 1922 when the Chicago and St. Louis Railroad took it over. And they made it prosperous, and that's when it got the nickname Nickel Plate. And from 1922 to 1964, it was the Nickel Plate Railroad, and that name is stuck. It had passenger travel until 1932, and I think the last freight train that went through was in 1994. The depot stood on the south side of Jackson Street, just parallel to the railroad on the west side. Today that would be the parking lot for the Pizza King. And the depot was the heart of the community. It was I guess the nearest thing today you could compare it to would be an airport and social media hub combined. It had the only telegraph in town for many, many years. So that's the background of the railroad through Cicero. The Nickel Plate is back as a heritage railroad site. Mrs. Tony Dickover is still involved in it. We run excursion trains on Saturdays and Sundays. And it's a 1956 engine, and there's a dining car, a couple passenger cars, and you can buy tickets for dinner excursions. We have kid excursions for children at Halloween time and Christmas time. It runs from Noblesville through Cicero, through Arcadia up to Atlanta, and the round trip is about 25 miles and takes a couple hours, and you go through scenic northern Hamilton County. If you go north from Noblesville to Cicero, of course it slows way down to go through the towns, and then you'll cross the reservoir, which is a good sight in winter or summer. You can see, in the summertime it's great to see the boats out there, and it goes slightly to the west after it crosses the reservoir, and then straight north through Arcadia. So I live about a mile and a half from the track, and so Saturdays and Sundays I can hear the whistle and it sounds great. Once you get through the towns, you're going through some countryside, and you see a part of northern Hamilton County you don't normally see. You see, we see deer, you see livestock. You'll think you're in Wyoming sometimes. Between Arcadia and Atlanta, there's tree lines there that you see cornfields in the fall, farmers picking them. In the spring, you see farmers planting the corn. Yeah, it's even someone that's lived here all their life, you can see pieces of northern Hamilton County you haven't seen before. I love Cicero because it's small town America, very friendly. I taught school for 40 years in this community. In the last 2 years, I had grandkids of my first students. And you know people. Even if you've only lived here 5 years, you'll get connected quickly.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us again. We hope that you are enjoying Now Entering Cicero as much as we are. And stories like the great story about the railroad, the things you guys don't get to see at home between the program is Michelle dancing. She was doing her own little jig during that last piece, but maybe that'll make it.
You're gonna have to get the DVD.
That'll make
it in behind the scenes footage.
The behind the scenes footage will include Michelle doing her dance, and it was really
It was a nickel
something.
plate dance.
Oh gosh, hi, I'm Angie Rapp along with Michelle Kinsey, and we are coming to you from the Ball State PBS studios on the campus of Ball State University. It's been great celebrating the stories of Cicero with you.
We are here tonight because Now Entering is one of the things we love to do. We love to work with our communities. You have great stories to tell, and we want to help you tell them. So tonight we are celebrating Cicero, and we ask that you join in that celebration by helping support your public broadcasting station, Ball State PBS. Nobody else does this. There's no commercial station here that comes to a town and says, hey, tell us your stories because we want to share them. So show your support for what we do, what Ball State PBS does, by calling 800-252-9472 or go online to ballstatepbs.org. And one of the great Cicero volunteers behind us, ooh, the phones are starting to ring. I love it. Behind us, they were happy to take your call and comments. We want to take a minute right now and thank those of you who have called in with your gift of support to Ball State PBS.
Just like Jennifer and Kelly King.
Fantastic.
And they say they enjoy watching and seeing all of the sights of Cicero and the people they know.
Wonderful. We'd also like to thank Zonica Brown from Cicero.
Awesome.
Charles Reeves, thank you so much. He's from Cicero. And Courtney Martin from Arcadia says, hi, Mom.
Oh,
right behind me. There's Mom right there. There's Mom right there.
Now we want you to keep posting your comments on Facebook or YouTube with the hashtag NECicero. We love hearing from you. And if you have friends or family who can't watch the show on TV, we are streaming the show live on ballstatepbs.org and Facebook. We're here tonight sharing the stories of Cicero, stories that can only be told by your local PBS station, Ball State PBS. Help support the station that brings you such powerful local storytelling by making a contribution right now. We make it easy for you. You choose the amount, you choose if you'd like a thank you gift, and you choose how you'd like to pay. Don't put off making that call. Now is the time to show your love for your hometown of Cicero and your local PBS station. Ball State PBS takes pride in serving Cicero and all of the East Central Indiana every day with programming that you love. Your financial support, no matter the amount, really does make a difference. Call us at 800-252-9472.
Here at Ball State PBS, we always aim to reflect the values and viewing preferences of the community we serve, right here where we all live. Ball State PBS is locally owned and operated, and programming decisions are made by people who understand the unique character of our communities. And that's part of what makes public television special. But it also takes your support to keep it that way. And the best way to join Ball State PBS now is to become a sustaining member.
If you've never heard of a sustaining membership before, let me tell you how it works. Instead of giving just one lump sum of $60 or $120 each year, you can spread your support out into a more manageable, ongoing $5 or $10 a month payment. And the best part of becoming a sustaining member is that you'll never have to think about whether or not it's time to renew your membership to support the programs that you love. Your monthly contributions will automatically come out of your bank account or credit card, so your membership will always stay current. And there simply isn't an easier or more popular way to do your part to keep your favorite shows like Now Entering on the air. It takes just a few minutes to set up, and you can do that online or by phone. Call 800-252-9472 or go to ballstatepbs.org.
And when you call in with your annual gift of $60 or a sustaining gift of $5 a month, we'll send you the Now Entering Cicero DVD as a thank you. Or if you can give a little more with an annual gift of $108 or $9 a month, we'll send you 2 DVDs as a thank you gift, one for you and one perhaps for a friend. There is bonus material on the DVD that you won't see on tonight's broadcast, including a look behind the scenes of production day in Cicero and from the Ball State PBS studios, as well as photos, interviews, and much more. All you have to do is call us and talk to one of the awesome volunteers behind me, 800-252-9472, or go online at ballstatepbs.org. We've talked to a couple of the storytellers tonight, and I think we have another one over there with Phil, ready to tell us more about their experience working on Now Entering. Phil?
Thank you, Michelle. 800-252-9472 is the number to call. If you value programming like the one you're watching right now, Now Entering Cicero, it's only possible when folks like you make that call and become a member here at Ball State PBS. So we hope you'll make that call short, quick. You talk to some very nice folks from Cicero, right? And then we'll be right back to the program. So joining us now, speaking of the program, is Mr. Stanton Renner, and you just saw him a couple minutes ago talking about the Nickel Plate Railroad. So thank you for being here. We appreciate it. So tell us a little bit about how did you get started working with the Nickel Plate Railroad?
Oh, probably almost 50 years ago. I got involved with, excuse me, with trying to save and restore the Arcadia Depot, which was on the railroad track. From there, I just kind of drifted into being involved with the railroad in general. And then I was on the board of directors for the Nickel Plate Express, which is the Heritage Railroad. Until the last year or two, I was involved with that, and now I'm just a patron and I'm proud of it.
Now, the railroad itself, as you mentioned in the earlier story, is a big part of sort of the development of that whole area.
It was. In towns in the 1850s and 60s that the railroad came close to or went through, prospered. Towns that the railroad didn't go through or touch dried up or died. And one of the things about the railroad in small towns like Cicero was the depot was the integral part of the town. It was kind of like the airport of its day. I mean, that's where people got on and got off to travel. You shipped your goods out that way too. It also was a community center. The depot in Cicero was right downtown, and they had the only telegraph in town. And so if you wanted to send a message out or get a message received, you went to the telegraph office, which was at the depot, and received it. And this even predated telephones. And the depot was also a place where there was lots of, that's where you went to receive, out-of-town guests that were coming to visit. This is pre-automobile days. And so if your aunts and uncles and grandparents were visiting you, you went to pick them up at the depot. And then you returned them. That's where they would catch their train to leave and go to the depot. There were 6 passenger trains a day that passed through Cicero up until the 1920s and 30s. And on Sundays, even 2 trains that passed through Cicero, passenger trains. And you could go all places, Chicago, St. Louis. You might have transfer once or twice, much like you do with an airline today. The depot also could be a place of sorrow. During both World War I and World War II, all of the casualty lists first came into the depot. And if you were anyone in your family that was in the service, you would check daily with the depot. They would post a list, which must have been dreadful for people to go up and look at. I heard the story, personal story once, that there was a resident in Cicero whose son, the station agent at Cicero got word that this son had been killed in the D-Day invasion, World War II. And the station agent knew the family very well. Rather than wait for the father to come, as he did every day, to look at the list, the station agent closed the depot for 20 minutes and walked 3 blocks and knocked on the door and told the family themselves. But that's how important the depot was to the community. It was the news center. It was the place where you received produce. It's where you sent out, if you had ordered baby chicks in the spring, that's where they first came to the depot, and you go pick them up. If you were going to ship out grain or cattle, the elevator in Cicero was only a block from the depot. That's where it would be deposited and then loaded on the cars, and you would settle up at the depot with the profit or whatever was coming to you. But it was an integral part of the town.
So if folks are watching tonight and they have an interest in, hey, I might want to take advantage of taking a ride on that train, how do they find out about it?
Okay, the Nickel Plate Express, and you can go on nickelplateexpress.com and find ticket information online. And they do have all kinds of rides. They have seasonal rides. There'll be a Halloween ride at Christmas time. There's a reindeer ride. They have, during the year, they have dinner trains. They'll have wine and cheese excursions, and you can book the Nickel Plate Express for private parties if you wish. So, nickelplateexpress.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you. We appreciate you joining us for the show and joining us here tonight. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. And this is one of those things. You hear a story like this. This is the kind of thing we do here at Ball State PBS. Most of the time, if you live in a smaller town and a television news crew comes to your town, it's generally not good news. In our case, it is. So we hope if that's of value to you and you appreciate what we do here, you'll give us a call now, 800-252-9472. And now, back to Michelle and Angie.
Thanks, Phil. Do you love the compelling dramas, the trustworthy news coverage, the enthralling history and science? Ball State PBS is the place to go for all this and so much more. PBS introduced us to the concepts of educational children's programming. PBS offered original cooking and DIY shows before anyone else. PBS now takes us across the globe, teaching us about other cultures, bringing us a variety of music and fine arts programs, and keeping us up to date on public affairs and news. Ball State PBS has always brought us the diverse programming no one else can, and continues to do so every day. Don't let another opportunity to support this program and your local PBS station pass you by. The fact is, the most important source of revenue Ball State PBS receives comes from contributions from viewers like you. Whether you can make a one-time contribution of $100, or if you'd like to become a sustaining member with an ongoing contribution of just $5 or $10 a month, all we ask is that you give what you can. It's easy to do your part for the quality programs you love. Go to ballstatepbs.org or call 800-252-9472. And thank you.
Ball State PBS believes in making the communities we serve better. We do this through our community engagement activities and our local programming. The Now Entering series gives us the opportunity to visit and learn more about what makes each of your hometowns unique. Ball State PBS is here to give East Central Indiana a broadcast voice and a programming option that seeks to educate, inform, and inspire. We embrace the opportunities to engage with people on air, online, and out in the community. We believe that is what makes public television special. Some of the storytellers from Cicero have joined us on the phone bank tonight. Yeah, let's hear it, storytellers! And they are waiting to hear from you. They've been great, so keep these phones ringing and let us know you value Ball State PBS and what we bring to you, your family, and your community each and every day. Call 800-252-9472 right now or go online to ballstatepbs.org.
Thanks so much to everyone who has already called in, just like
Yes, Greg Gary. He said he was so excited to see his neighbor Phyllis in the program. Thanks for calling. And then also Jerry Cook of Cicero, thank you. Susie McKee of Cicero said the show has been very informative, and she said the Ryan White segment brought her to tears. You're not alone.
Yep.
You are not alone, Susie.
Yep, absolutely. And over on Facebook, Jenny Russa said, when Westfield lost its small town feel, we moved to Cicero 17 years ago. We love Hamilton Heights schools and our church, #Cicero fam, of 20 years now. We have raised our family here and love our town. And from Craig Bowen, Ball State PBS, you've done an amazing job featuring our town. Thank you so much for all the work you've put into showcasing beautiful Cicero. But you guys did the work.
Right?
So thank you.
And what wonderful work
for doing
you did.
this. And
That's
thank you, everyone in Cicero who's already called.
Absolutely. We also want to thank our premium sponsors, the town of Cicero and Lisa Stokes Bear Century 21 Sheets.
Greetings from Cicero, Indiana, a friendly lakeside community on Morse Reservoir. Cicero has a thriving downtown with a variety of places to dine, grab a coffee, or shop, and water amenities that include a marina, kayak and canoe launch, and fishing pier. Lisa Stokes Bear, Century 21 Sheets Real Estate Agency in Cicero, Indiana, specializes in residential and corporate relocations, home buying and selling and professional staging, serving Hamilton, Tipton, and Madison counties since 1997.
Thanks to the support of sponsors like the town of Cicero and Lisa Stokes Bear, Century 21 Sheets, and Ball State PBS viewers just like you, we can continue to bring a world of information, education, entertainment, and wonder into your home. Make that call now at 1-800-252-9472 or go online at ballstatepbs.org. And with an annual gift of $60 or a sustaining gift of $5 a month, you will receive your very own copy of the Now Entering Cicero DVD as a thank you. Or for a gift of $108 or just $9 a month, you'll receive 2 DVDs.
Yep. Oh, guess what? It's time to go back to the program and hear about more great stories from Cicero.
I'm Phyllis Leyendecker, and I'd like to talk to you about my childhood in the 1930s. I was 3 years old when we moved to the country from Noblesville, where my dad had a business that wasn't profitable anymore. And he moved us to the family farm where he knew we would have something to eat and a good school. I didn't know we were poor because everyone was alike. We had an outside toilet, of course, and we didn't have running water either. And I might add that we used the catalog for the toilet paper. My mother had lots of kerosene lamps because she wanted to be able to see as well as possible, but it was rather hard to read with kerosene lamps. She was always in the city and had electricity in a bathroom, which we had neither when we moved to the country. But we were only 1/2 mile from Cicero. We just had a good time. And on Sunday, we'd make ice cream, homemade, and the kind of that you crank the handle. And we always had lots of company. And that's another thing that you didn't call before you went. If you wanted to go visit your neighbors, you just went. You didn't need to call. We had a radio that was run by battery, and we didn't listen to music on that because we had a Victrola, and if we wanted to hear music, we could wind up those records on the Victrola. I liked going to town on Saturday night, and we'd put the best clothes on that we had, and then we would just walk around down one side of the street and the other, and during the 4th of July, the boys would shoot firecrackers at the girls. When you bought something at a store, you got a little card with a number on it, and they'd have a drawing, and they'd give away sugar, and then they'd have entertainment, sometimes a singer or just whoever wanted to perform. Saturday night was great when we were growing up. That wouldn't seem very exciting now, would it? We kept up on the news. My folks were worldly, and they knew what was going on.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked.
I had a boyfriend, and he was coming over. It was on Sunday, and when he came in, he said, do you have the radio on? And we didn't have. And he told us about that. And right away, my dad turned the radio on, and we were all so shocked. Everybody was so shocked because they knew their loved ones were going to be drafted into the war. So I had two brothers that went, and they were gone for about 3 years. And also my boyfriend at that time went. And he was in England, and my brother was in Ireland, and my brother that was in the Navy was on the island of Saipan. I graduated from Cicero High School in 1943, and we were compelled to do something to help with the war. So I went to work in a defense plant in Indianapolis. They had a paint shop and where they painted all the parts for the planes. After the paint dried, we had to see that there was no residue on the parts. We had to scrape all that off and be sure that they were really nice. I love Cicero because my grandparents lived there and my aunts and uncles lived there. I just felt at home there, and my grandparents lived very near the main drag in Cicero, and I could go to their house, and they had a bathroom and a furnace, and that was great. I can remember that very well. But I still love Cicero, and I live right there by the condos on the lake, and I can see the fireworks on the 4th of July, and I have lots of people that come and sit in my yard and watch the fireworks. And I just like Cicero.
I am here today to tell you about the Miss Celebrations USA Lights Over Morse Lake pageant that we bring to the Lights Over Morse Lake Festival every year. The amazing part about Miss Celebrations USA is that each one of our pageants pair with a charity, and all of our contestants are required to bring a minimum of 10 non-perishable items to each pageant and donate to our charitable partner. Many years ago, the Cruz family in Geneva, Alabama, found that their food pantry had a local need. And being involved in beauty products and pageants, they decided that an appropriate way to raise funds and have fun is to hold a pageant that is community service directed. So all of our queens participate in what we call Beauty by Action. It's open to everyone. As a matter of fact, the Lights Over Morse Lake Committee has given anyone who wants to participate a free basic entry to the pageant. So they get to come in for free. All they have to do is bring their finest red, white, and blue material outfit and rock the stage. Our divisions go from babies to grandmothers. So we have babies who compete with their mothers and with their grandmothers. So we are open to all ages. Every year, our queens gain a sash. And we always say that it is the Morse Lake sash. And if you're from Cicero, you most definitely want to have a sash that says Morse Lake on it because you're the Lake Queen. The first year, I found that the little bitty ones, they cried when they didn't get a crown. So from the second year on, I have made sure that every queen, every contestant, especially the little ones, they have a little tiara to go home with. The spirit of the celebration is probably our most coveted title. that is the individual who brings the most items for the charitable partner. And we find that they are the spirit of the celebration because they get it. We are here to serve the community and provide non-perishable items to our charitable partner. So our first year we gave to Agape Therapeutic Writing. We gave writing helmets, dog food, cat food, cleaning supplies, all kinds of things that were helpful to the writing facility. The next year, we gave to Sacred Heart Catholic Church Food Pantry and raised thousands of items for them, and we worked with them for a couple years. Our community is amazing. Our contestants go out throughout their neighborhoods and gather canned goods from all of their neighbors, and they bring by the wagon full, the van full. We always have an amazing turnout, and the neighborhoods all get involved as well. I love Cicero because we are a community that gives back. Through our pageant, we give back to several local charities, and over the past 5 years, we have donated over 10,000 items to our local charitable partners.
Hi, my name is Jerry Cook. I am retired from the Cicero Police Department and presently on the Cicero Town Council, and I'm here to talk about the Cicero Police Department history. My father was the town marshal, I think the first town marshal of Cicero. He started in 1943, and he died on the job in 1961 from a massive heart attack breaking up a bar fight here in Cicero. And after that, my older brother, Larry, became town marshal. And then in 1964, he went to the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, and then I became town marshal and retired after 34 years. Then after that, when I retired, my younger brother, Gary, became, they called it chief of police then. He became the chief of police, and he retired from Cicero. I even had a younger sister that was, when she graduated, she became a dispatcher. Our history of being a law enforcement in Cicero started in 1943 with my dad. It went from my older brother Larry, and then to me, and then my younger brother retired in 2008. So it went from 1943 to 2008. I think that's what we all wanted to do.
I grew up in Arcadia, and my dad was a reserve deputy in Arcadia the whole time in my growing up. And I got interested in law enforcement, I think, through that. And then I got hired under Jerry in 1980 and was there until 2018. When I started, there were 4 full-time officers. I was close to Gary and Jerry, obviously, since it was just 4 of us. And then later on, I became chief in 2008 when Gary retired. So I was the first non-cook since 1943. So because of being here for so long at that period of time, and sometimes earnestly and sometimes jokingly would be, so which cook are you? Jokingly, the Superior Court judge at the time that we were friends with said, if you need your legal name changed, let me know and we'll take care of that.
I think when I started, it was like maybe 800 people, maybe. At that time, you knew every dog, cat, and man and woman by name, and then gradually grew over a period of time.
I love Cicero because it still has a small town feel. Even though it's grown some, it still has a lot of small town people and a lot of relationships that way.
Hi, my name is Melissa Martin. I am a tech integration at Hamilton Heights, and today I'm going to be speaking on our 3rd grade history tour that we do with all of our 3rd grade students at the beginning of the school year. And that tour encompasses a history of our entire school district. In my opinion, students will learn firsthand if they can touch and feel what they are learning in the classroom. So if we're going to be talking about Morse Reservoir or the Red Bridge, it's better to take them there. What better way to learn about your community than rather seeing it up close and personal? So we will start the day at the elementary school and leave and go through Arcadia, Atlanta, then we will head east out to White River Township, and go through Omega, Aroma, Walnut Grove, come back through Strawtown. Students will get off the bus at Lafayette Trace, and we eventually end up in Cicero, where we will discuss the old canneries, the glass factories, the building of Morse Reservoir, the White River Monster, and we will stop at Red Ridge Park. We'll talk about the old covered bridge as well as the magnetic springs, which would have been on the north side of the Causeway Bridge, and we'll eventually make our way back to Hamilton Heights Elementary School. My favorite part would be the story of President Benjamin Harrison coming to Cicero. His next stop was to be in Tipton, but there are so many people that were crowded on the railroad tracks that his train did have to stop. And then they did present him with a glass cane and a glass chain from the local glass factory. Then also the other favorite story for the students is the story of Magnetic Springs, which would have been a park on the west side of Cicero. They touted that it was the best roller skating rink around. At one time they had a basketball game played on roller skates, and which you can imagine how dangerous that could be. And the game was complete with jump balls even. And so the students just absolutely love that story. Not only do we take all third graders on this tour, but our superintendent, Dr. Arrowood, drives our bus, which the kids love seeing him get on, as they get on the school bus and see him as a driver. And then as we are going through our tour, as we get to the west side of Cicero, he even stops and tells stories about when he grew up outside of Cicero. So his stories are great. The kids love it. We do the trip at the beginning of the school year, and we take all of the new teachers to our district so that they become familiar with who we are at Hamilton Heights. And many people who've gone on the trip, they're like, wow, I've lived here for a long time and I never knew that. Or they're like, I really want so-and-so to go on this tour. So there's always been this talk of maybe we should open this up and do a tour, but we'll see about that. The third graders, once we go in September and October, they work on this project throughout the entire year, learning about their community, and then they are now in the process of working to present to our school board. For example, one class, they're actually going to be talking about how to build a dam, and because that's obviously how Morse Reservoir was built, and so they learn about the mechanisms and the of how dams are built, and so they will demonstrate how that is done. So this history tour, has expanded from the first time that I have done it. And that for the students to go home and tell their parents, and then the parents are wanting to learn more, that just speaks volumes to me that we do need to get the word out. We have a great community here and, a rich history, and more people need to know about it.
Today I'm going to talk about some of the exciting things we have going on in town from an economic standpoint, and we're going to talk a little bit about the future and how bright the future is for Cicero. So 7 years ago, my wife and I started, considering different places to live, and ultimately we came and we found a house in Cicero. We called the realtor to see if we could look at it, with no intention of moving forward on anything at that time. But as soon as we walked into that house, I saw it on my wife's face and knew I better prepare myself for a move. We made the move here and we instantly fell in love with the community. I mean, the people, the culture, the small town feel, it was instant love. Now, as part of moving up here, the sellers, the people we purchased our home from, they made it very clear that they wanted a younger family with children, that Cicero needed that demographic. But also as part of that, a promise I made to the sellers as far as coming into this community was that I would get involved. So the first place I found to get involved was the Economic Development Committee. It's a volunteer position. I've spent countless hours working through things on different various projects, whether it be free Wi-Fi for downtown and the parks, or other topics, helping businesses get over some of the hurdles to come to town. The economic environment in Cicero right now is actually robust. It's very centered around the service industry. We obviously have the lake that draws a lot of people from a tourism standpoint, so we have a lot of restaurants in town. And then we have a lot of festivals downtown too. So there is a lot of things from a tourism standpoint that Cicero currently does to draw people in from the surrounding communities. People come here and they instantly fall in love, so it makes Cicero a highly desirable community to come to. So when we first moved here, the first thing we noticed was the outdoor culture, the people. It's just active. There were constantly people outside running, riding bikes. You know, there was a triathlon within 3 months that went through our neighborhood, and we didn't know it was coming. So we woke up one Saturday morning, we were like, hey, there's a triathlon going on. So it's just, again, it's a very active lifestyle around here. There's actually a trail that's going in right now that's going to connect Sheridan all the way through Cicero out to Koteewi Park. So you'll be able to run, you'll be able to ride your bikes all safely along the road on that 8-foot wide trail. So there's a lot of bright things going on, or a lot of exciting things going on for the community, and we're going to continue to enhance that. So as we move forward, we're going to see some growth, and we're doing everything we can to make sure it's moderate growth, strategic, and responsible. So we're going to see new housing additions, we're going to see new commercial districts, we're even going to see light industrial. We're going to utilize the lake, we're going to further enhance that outdoor culture. We absolutely do not want to lose that small town culture and that small town feel. I love Cicero because of the people. The people make this community. We often dub it as a community, we call it the Cicero fam. One of the biggest things we get a laugh about is we got very close with the people in our neighborhood. And at the time, my daughter was 6 years old, and we were taking her to preschool one day. I'm sorry, this gets me a little emotional. She said, Mommy, she said, why do we call it a neighborhood? And my wife says, well, what do you mean, baby? And she goes, well, these people are our family. Why don't we call it a familyhood? And that's kind of stuck with our group of people for the last 6 years. And we still today call ourselves a familyhood. But that's really the culture around Cicero. And that's all made possible by the people.
We're all going to be saying that now, right? Familyhood. How adorable is that?
Sweet.
What a lovely familyhood Cicero
Absolutely
is. Everyone has a story to tell, and we heard some great ones in that last segment. Thanks for joining us for Now Entering Cicero tonight on Ball State PBS. I'm Michelle Kinsey along with Angie Rapp, and we're so happy you could join us to celebrate these fantastic stories from Cicero.
Thanks to all of the people and town of Cicero for participating in this series. We've enjoyed the variety of stories this evening, and you can enjoy the stories anytime with your own copy of tonight's program. When you call in with your gift of just $5 a month, you can receive the Now Entering Cicero DVD. Or if you can give just a little bit more with your monthly gift of just $9, we will send you 2 DVDs. That's one for you and maybe one for a friend or a family member, or you can send it to Michelle because I think she really would like to have one for her own as well.
Absolutely.
And don't forget the DVD is going to include additional material that you're not seeing on tonight's broadcast, including a behind-the-scenes look at footage and from everything that's happening right here tonight in our studios and so much more. All you have to do is just call in and talk to one of our awesome Cicero phone volunteers that are standing by. 800-252-9472, or you can go online to ballstatepbs.org.
Absolutely. We want to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors one more time who helped make this broadcast possible. Thanks to our premium sponsors, the town of Cicero and Lisa Stokes Bear Century 21 Sheets. Yes.
And thank you to the wonderful community sponsors, including 10 West, Cicero Market, Darkside Roasters, Hamilton North Public Library, Morse Lake Weather, and N3 Boatworks. A big thank you for all of your support. Now let's see who we've heard from tonight since the last break, as well as a few people that have called in.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, we've got a lot. All right. Mark Lefkowitz of Arcadia says, fabulous show, and I love the history of Cicero and Arcadia.
Awesome.
Owen Martin from Arcadia says, hi, Mom. I'm feeling, where'd she go? There she is over there.
She's so
Listen,
popular.
all the kids are calling in. All the kids are calling in. I love it. Tyson McFall Wancat from Lafayette. He says, special hello to Stan Renner and Julie Davis, teachers from Hamilton Heights.
Nice.
And thank you to Sue Hahn from Cicero. She says, I'm enjoying watching the show.
Love it. And over on Facebook, Megan Joy says, I want to ride that train, and I love that headboard. I want to ride that train too. Don't you?
Absolutely, I do.
And from Rebecca Cruz, hi from Miss Celebrations USA.
Wonderful.
We love Cicero and cannot wait to see lights over Morse Lake again.
Oh my goodness, what an amazing segue, because we would like to bring Laura. Get in here, Laura.
Let's give her a hand.
She's going to tell us all about the event, Lights Over Morse Lake, because it's coming up, right?
Yep. Yes, it is coming up on Saturday, July 2nd at 9 a.m. Oops. We don't want to lose the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
It is not too late to register. You can register on the Lights Over Morse Lake website, look for events, and pull down the menu, and you'll find the pageant. But in the committee has very generously donated to us a free entry for every young lady who would like to be a part of the pageant, so they can enter for free.
I love that. And remind everybody the age range.
From 0 to 100. So we have everyone from babies to grandmas. We
So
love
Michelle
for
and
you
I
all
can do
to-
it.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Why did you want to get involved in pageants? What was it about them that sparked your curiosity?
Well, Miss Celebrations USA was founded as a way to give back to our communities. So last year we raised over 3,600 non-perishable items for Angel's Attic, our charitable partner. They are our partner again this year, and this year we hope to raise 5,000 non-perishable items.
Wow. So you got involved because you really enjoy the community aspect of it, the giving back?
Yes.
That's so important. And is that something that you feel that you're passing on to all of these young ladies? Do you find that they are really kind of taking that to heart and doing that throughout their lives?
Yes, I think it's important that we instill in our youth the ability and the importance of giving back to their communities.
I love that so much. Now listen, back to Michelle and I. What do you think our chances would be?
I think you have a great chance, both of you.
Yeah?
Is there a
Really?
talent portion?
No talent.
Okay.
Okay, but would you say that I have a little bit better chance than Michelle does of winning?
Oh, I can't pick sides.
Oh, she's good. She's good.
Just checking.
She's done this pageant thing for a while,
I mean, I'm
friends.
just curious.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot of fun.
It
And I love the
does.
fact that it's so inclusive. That it's all ages. And
All ages.
Yes.
All
ages.
all
even
ages.
mine. That's fantastic. Remind everybody when Lights Over Morse Lake is again.
Yes, please.
It is Saturday, July 2nd at 9 a.m. at the Cicero Christian Church.
Fantastic. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Laura. I'm so
Laura.
glad you were here. That was a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing the story.
Thank you. Now, the mission of Ball State PBS is powered by our common spirit, the spirit of public service and community enrichment. Ball State PBS is here for all ages and backgrounds, from the tiny tots to grandparents and everyone in between. If it's quality television with impact, you know you'll find it on Ball State PBS. But we need your support to keep programming that is innovative right here on Ball State PBS. Programs that you can't find anywhere else. Programs like the one you're watching tonight. We love being able to connect viewers with the great local stories and storytellers through this series. We want to hear from you now. Just give us a call at 800-252-9472 or go online to ballstatepbs.org.
Part fundraiser, part community builder, part historical and cultural documentary, and part day in the life video scrapbook, Now Entering shares the local legends, historical happenings, and backyard secrets of our towns. Ball State PBS believes in making the communities we serve better. We do this through our community engagement activities such as Ready to Learn and Be My Neighbor Day. Also through local programming like Wellness Matters, Roundtable, and of course, Now Entering. When you call in to support Ball State PBS, we have some thank you gifts for you. With your sustaining gift of $5 a month, you'll get the Now Entering Cicero DVD. And for just $9 a month, you'll get 2 DVDs. We have lots of bonus material on the DVD, including behind the scenes of production day in Cicero, plus photos and videos not seen in the broadcast tonight. And a story, oh, get this, a story about the Hance House in Cicero and famous Prohibition-era gangsters who lived there for a time. All you have to do is call 800-252-9472 or go online to ballstatepbs.org. I believe Dr. Phil Hoffman has another one of our storytellers with him to talk more about their experience with Now Entering. Phil?
Thank you, Michelle. We appreciate you being here tonight. please give us a call, 800-252-9472. Become a member of Ball State PBS. This is your last opportunity during this program to make that call and become a member and show your support of Cicero. So if you're out there in Cicero, now's your chance. It's do or die. Make that call, 800-252-9472. And well, right now, VIP on the set here with us. You are your own Cicero Mrs. Frizzle, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Melissa Martin. So Melissa, tell us a little bit about the genesis of the idea to take students out and just take them around their own hometown.
Sure, I should have worn my Magic School Bus t-shirt.
Exactly, right?
Yes, exactly. So the idea started, I inherited the trip. Before me, another teacher by the name of Matt Wallace did the tour until he moved to Michigan, and then we had David Highway, who's the county historian. He did it for 1 year, and then it came to me. And so I've been learning, not originally from the Cicero area. I have done my own research with the help of Mr. Highway and taken on the stories and keep learning more and more about it and wanting to pass that information on along to the third graders.
So, you know, I'm thinking of, as you're talking about the tour and what you all do, I'm thinking to myself, best day of school ever. Ever, right? You're riding around in the bus, going to the water and having lunch and doing all that sort of thing.
Yes.
What do you find that the kids get the most excited about or remember the most from the tour?
Some of the stories. One, you know, as I said in the segment, they love getting on the bus and seeing Dr. Arrowood drive the bus, which that's pretty cool. And then, you know, just the various places, you know, there's a haunted house or a haunted motel supposedly in Atlanta, and then the different industries that at one time Atlanta was bigger than the city of Carmel. And then we take them around to almost always the best story is Willie the White River Monster, which the kids, I really build up the story that there's this monster and the people were afraid to go to the water and they were afraid to take their livestock. And what it ended up being was unfortunately it was a dead cow that was floating in the river. But
spoiler alert, Melissa,
exactly,
for Pete's
yes.
sake. I'm sorry, folks.
Absolutely. And then just learning about we have pieces of the glass factory from Arcadia and just to what was the industry then. So the students, it's a great time for them. And then they build on, after they do the trip, they build on it throughout the course of the school year as well.
And of course, this is all part, right, of learning about local history
Exactly.
and kind of the place where you live.
Right.
Do kids ever come back? Have you heard from somebody that did the tour years ago and talked to you about any memories of it? Do you ever hear anything like that?
So this past school year would have only been my third year. So those students are now in middle school, but you know, occasionally I'll see the students and they'll be like, oh, we did the bus tour, or the other thing, we also have giant maps that the kids, that we have them on, and they're like, oh, you're the lady with the maps. So, yes.
The lady with the maps on the school bus.
On the school bus.
With the superintendent. It's a whole thing.
It's a fun day.
So are there things that you would like to do that you haven't done yet on the tour? Are there things that you have ideas for?
We build every year. Every year we try to add something more. I'm always trying to find new stories, talking with those who are from the area, so I'm always trying to get more and more interesting stories about, maybe we can add to Willie the White River Monster, or the biggest one is the story of them presenting a glass cane to President Benjamin Harrison. I've spoken with them at the Benjamin Harrison home in Indianapolis, and they have the cane or pieces of what they think, but they cannot authenticate that that's the actual cane. So if I could find somewhere some Cicero glass that maybe they can authenticate it, that would be awesome. But right now it's just a good story.
Well, good story is pretty good when you're in third grade, right?
Exactly right.
Well, we thank you for being here. We appreciate you making the time to be in the program.
Thank you.
And to come tonight and share with us a little bit more about it. And, you know where to go if you want to get a tour, a bus tour of Cicero. You know who to talk to, right? Talk to Melissa Martin. Well, we appreciate you being here tonight, and this is your last opportunity, as we've said before, 800-252-9472. You can always go online, ballstatepbs.org. Get the DVD of the program that you're watching right now. It's the only place you're going to get all those behind the scenes and the extra bits that you might have on the DVD. So make that call right now and become a member of Ball State PBS and help us keep going out in our mission to tell the good stories of the small towns here in our area. And with that, it's back to Angie and Michelle.
Thank you, Phil. Ball State PBS has been a part of the community for 50 years. We went on the air October 31st, 1971. Think back for a moment to all the places you've been and the experiences you've had with Ball State PBS over that time. We've taken you on a deep dive into subjects you want to learn more about with Nova and nature, given you the best seat in the house with masterpiece and great performances, provided your kids an opportunity to explore new ideas with Molly of Denali and Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. Call now to make sure that we can continue to bring you the programs you count on. 800-252-9472 or go online, ballstatepbs.org. And with your qualifying contribution, you can take advantage of a special member benefit called Passport. Ball State PBS Passport brings you thousands of hours of great PBS programs whenever you want on the PBS app, your streaming player, phone, or tablet. You can catch up on the shows that you may have missed or revisit some of your favorites. And the best part is you can watch whenever you want. I love Ball State PBS Passport because there is such a great selection of fascinating documentaries and series. It's just another one of the great benefits of supporting Ball State PBS.
Thanks again to all the sponsors who support this program, and thanks to all of you who have called in and joined the Ball State PBS family tonight to support the programs that you love. Just like David Wallace of Noblesville. Thank you so much, David. His comment is well done. So,
very nice.
Thank you. And Perry Cook, I have it on good authority that he might be related to this gentleman behind me. That tall drink of water back there who's been on the phone bank all night. So thank you to the Cook family who's coming out in full support tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you so much to Robert White. Super that you took the time to call in and support Ball State PBS. And Jamie Shearer, who says, shout out to the Shear clan. All right, done and done. We shouted it out. Thank you so much for calling in your support of this program and Ball State PBS.
If you're currently a member of Ball State PBS, whether you give every month or every year, thank you. Every contribution you make to this station strengthens our community by making sure that everyone has equal access to the resources here on Ball State PBS to provide the programming that you trust, programming that informs and entertains, programming that really makes a difference. An easy way to support Ball State PBS is by becoming a sustaining member. Now, as a sustaining member, you'll never have to worry about renewing your support. You just sign up, and then you have your contribution automatically deducted from your bank account or credit card, and then it's all set. You can choose to give any amount, $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, you get to decide. It takes just a few minutes to set up your sustaining membership. Call right now at 800-252-9472 or go online to ballstatepbs.org to let us know you support the shows only Ball State PBS can bring you, just like Now Entering.
Thanks again to the wonderful residents of Cicero for sharing their stories and for volunteering their time. And if you haven't made that call yet tonight to support Ball State PBS and the wonderful local programs you can only see here, there is still time. 800-252-9472 or go online to ballstatepbs.org. With your gift, your monthly gift of $5 a month, we'll send you the Now Entering Cicero DVD as a thank you. Or if you can give a little bit more, just $9 a month, we'll send you 2 DVDs as a thank you gift. There's lots of bonus material on the DVD not seen in the broadcast tonight, so make that call now.
Now Entering is a great local program because it's your town, your stories told by you. We hope you've enjoyed learning more about Cicero, and if you want to see your town as a Now Entering town, we want you to let us know.
Absolutely. Watch for our next Now Entering episode later this fall as we hear from the great residents of Yorktown, Indiana.
That's my town. That's my hometown.
Thank you so much to all of our awesome storytellers and the wonderful volunteers. Thanks for sitting behind us and taking all these calls. And thank you for supporting your local PBS station, Ball State PBS.
Thank you so much.
Now Entering is made possible with support from Century 21 Sheets, Lisa Stokes Bear, Town of Cicero, with additional support from Cicero Market, Darkside Roasters, Hamilton North Public Library, Morse Lake Weather, N3 Boatworks, 10 West. Lisa Stokes Bear, Century 21 Sheets real estate agency in Cicero, Indiana, specializes in residential and corporate relocations, home buying and selling and professional staging, serving Hamilton, Tipton, and Madison counties since 1997. Greetings from Cicero, Indiana, a friendly lakeside community on Morse Reservoir. Cicero has a thriving downtown with a variety of places to dine, grab a coffee, or shop, and water amenities that include a marina, kayak and canoe launch, and fishing pier.